Namaste, everybody. Hope you're all well. And we are still officially here. So, Pranavam Pavanakuma Kalabana Pavaka Gyanagan Jasu Hridadayaga Basain Ram Sarachaba. That was very strange. Atulita Baladhana Hem Shala Badeham Nujavan Krishna Gyani Nama Graganyam Sakalaguna Nidhanam Vanaranam Adhishan Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Atajatam Namami Goshpadi Kurtavardisham Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamalaratnam Andenilatmajam Anjana Nandanam Viram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapi Samakshahanta Ande Lanka Bhayankaram Langa Sindho Salilam Salilam Yashokavahi Janakatma Jaya Adayatane Dadahalanka Namamitam Pranjali Ranjaneyam Manojavam Maruttatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Vardishtam Vatatmajam Vanarutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye. I love that verse. Manojavam. Manojavam means he who has conquered the mind. Jitendriyam, one who's conquered the senses, the pull of the senses. Vatatmajam. Manojam Marutatulya Begam. Marutatulya Begam means who's stronger and faster than the wind. That's pretty strong. Jitendriyam, Buddhimatam, Buddhishtam, and foremost among all the wise. Vatatmajam, son of the wind. Vanarayutamukyam. It means as like the leader among all the Vanaras, the monkeys. But Mr. Tiwari used to say, lion among monkeys. He loved that line. Vanarayutamukyam, lion among monkeys. Shri Ramadutam, Sharanam Prapadhe. Means I take refuge in that being that we just described, Hanuman. I go for refuge, for shelter, in the one that brings me to Rama, which is Hanuman. The flow of grace, the flow of love, compassion, and kindness. The reality, the way things really are, the knower of that. That we are, as Maharaji said, sab-ek, all one. Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe. Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe. Anjaneya Matipatalanam Kanchanadri Kamaneya Vigraham Parijata Tarumula Vasanam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakanjali Vashpavare Paripurna Lochanam Martinamat Rakshasantakam Bolo Bhajaranga Bale Hanuman Ki Jai. Sita Rama Rama Ram Hare Ram Hare Ram Rama Ram Sita Rama Rama Ram Hare Ram Sita Rama Rama Ram Hare Rama Rama Ram Hare Rama Rama Ram Sita Rama Rama Ram Hare Ram Hare Rama Rama Ram Sita Rama Rama Ram Hare Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Rama 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 Sita 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 Rama 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Hare Rama 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 Sita Rama 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram 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 Jaya Ram Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama. Sita Rama, Sita Rama, Sita Rama, yeah, Sita Rama. Sita Rama, Sita Rama, Sita Rama, yeah, Sita Rama. Sita Rama, Sita Rama, Sita Rama, yeah, Sita Rama. Sita Rama, Sita Rama, Sita Rama, yeah, Sita Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama 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 Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama Rama Rama, Sita Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram. So, what are we doing? Well, I don't know. We're chanting. And there's many ways to do this practice. And pretty much works any way you do it, because it's the name itself that is the medicine. And whether you visualize other beings, your guru, the gods, whatever, or whether you simply return back every time you notice you haven't been actually paying attention, it's the repetition of the name itself that does that does the work itself. It's the name itself. We can't think ourselves out of a prison that's made of thought. All our thoughts and emotions essentially are a prison. They're part of the prison of me. Me, myself, mine. I, me, mine. Our fascination and obsession with our own stuff. But there's a longing inside that we're not always aware of, but it's always there. And it's like a magnetic pull that pulls us, that's pulling us back to our true self. And these names are the names of that place inside. And so, no matter how you look at it, whether you look at it in a religious way or a spiritual way or a nuts and bolts kind of paying attention kind of way, it's okay. But the point is to do the practice regularly. Do some practice regularly. That's how we plant the seeds of the qualities that we want to develop, that we want to recognize in ourselves. So, however it is that you pay attention and get yourself to pay attention, that's what you should do. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Your turn. Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, so blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, so blind, but now I see. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga, hey Ma Durga, Ma Durga. Om Namah Chandikaya. 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 Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shivadatri Swaha Svadha Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Siddhi Buddhi Parde Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Mantra Murti Mahadevi Mahalakshmi Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Sarvabadha Vinirmukto Dhanadhanya Sutanato Manusyo Matprasadeno Avishyati Sangsara Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Ma Kali Durga Namo Namo. Ma Kali Durga Namo Namo. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe, He Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe. Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga. Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om. Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om Narayani Om. Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga. Jai Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jagarambe Ma Durga. He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga. He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga, He Ma Durga. Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jagarambe Ma Durga. Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jagarambe Ma Durga. Narayani Om, Narayani Om, Narayani Om, Narayani Om. Narayani Om, Narayani Om, Narayani Om, Narayani Om. Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jagarambe Ma Durga. Jagarambe Ma Durga, Jagarambe Ma Durga. Narayani Om, 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 Narayani Om. Those mantras at the beginning, two of those mantras were given to me by Mr. Tewari, my great friend and Indian father, great yogi. He was a Shiva Bhakta and a Guru Bhakta, and he was a Bhakta of everybody, of everything, of the whole universe, but especially Shiva and the goddess. And Ram and Hanuman and all that, of course. But he used to do these, every other day in India is a holiday, is a day that honors one of the great beings, the deities. And so at one point he was living in Lucknow, and he was doing his Devi Puja. Devi means goddess, Puja is worship. So he was doing his practice. And so for 10 straight days, he would do 4, 5, 6 hours of puja every day, of mantras and prayers and rituals and everything. And there's a practice called sampat, which means that after every mantra, so what he would do is he would chant what's called the Durga Saptasati, which is 700 verses or mantras to the goddess. It's a beautiful, actually this is a copy of it here. It's called the Devi Mahatmyam, which means the glory of the goddess, or the Durga Saptasati. And if you look here, Maharaji himself wrote Rama 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 Rama. He wrote that on my book. So Mr. Tiwari was doing this practice, and there's this idea that if you make it harder, you get more merit. Not really like that, but you can. But one of the things to do is you add one particular mantra after every one of the other mantras. So after 700 verses or mantras, between each verse, you add one mantra. So he was doing that practice. He had picked some mantra that he knew, and he was doing that mantra to the goddess in between all the verses. And he was getting terrible headaches, unbelievable headaches, and it was really hard. He was really suffering. So he went to his puja guru. He had two gurus. One was named Brahmachari Maharaj and Neem Karoli Maharaj, Neem Karoli Baba. They were both around the same time in the same area up in the hills of the Himalayas. Brahmachari Maharaj was the reincarnation of a great Siddha yogi named Sombari Maharaj. And if you want to read about Sombari Maharaj and Haryakan Maharaj and the yogis of this area, there's a book written by our friend K.K. Shah called Deva Bhumi, which means the land of the gods. And it's in English, of course, and it's an incredible book. And he tells the story of some of these great yogis, two of them being Sombari Baba, and then his reincarnation, which was Brahmachari Maharaj. It's a great book. There it is. Nina has it up there. It's available. Oh, wait, it's available on krishnadas.com. What do you know about that? So he was doing this puja every day and getting terrible headaches. So he went to his puja guru, his Brahmachari Maharaj, who happened to be in Lucknow. And he's telling the guru what was happening. And Brahmachari Maharaj said to him, "What mantra are you using?" And Tiwari told him, and the Brahmachari Maharaj said, "You idiot! What are you doing? You're begging the mother, the goddess, again and again and again. You're begging her, you're begging her, you're begging her. You don't have to do that. She's your mother. It's a mother's nature to give." And he gave Tiwari a different mantra to do instead of the one he was doing, and his headaches went away. And that mantra was one of the mantras I did. Sarva Badha Binir Mukto Dhana Dhanya Sita Nato Manushyo Mat Prasadeno Bhavishyati Na Sanshaya. And this basically just means it's your Oma. It's your nature to give. Just by turning to you, one gets everything one needs in life, essentially, is what it says, and peace in the world. So it's a very different point of view, and immediately his headaches went away. And then the funny story is, later that day, Maharaji was also in Lucknow at that time, and Tiwari went to see him. Can you imagine going from one to the other? And he walks in, and Maharaji says to him, "What did he tell you?" Just like that. Didn't even ask, "What did he tell you?" And Tiwari told him, and Maharaji said, "Teek, that's right." There's another funny story about one time Neem Karoli Baba came to see Brahmachari Maharaj. They were both in Lucknow at the time. And Brahmachari Maharaj told Tiwari to go bring some water for Maharaji to drink. And so Tiwari goes all the way down to the river to bring pure river water for Maharaji. And he brings it And it took him a long time to get all the way down to the river and back. When he comes back, Brahmachari Maharaj says, where did you go? What? And I went to bring water from the river. And Brahmachari Maharaj said, you idiot. He could drink sewer water. It's me that has to drink the pure water because I'm not finished. A finished being like him could have drank the sewer water. You could have brought him anything. It was a funny story. Oh, okay. Some questions. Let me see if I can find that. Google Docs. Here it is. All right. Well, first, let me tell you a few things. Today, this afternoon, we did a program with the Zen Peacemakers, which is Bernie Glassman's, the group that Bernie Glassman started. The idea is they go to hot spots in the world where there's a lot of suffering and a lot of violence and anger, and they try to, in whatever way they can, start dialogue going, like in Northern Ireland and in Africa. They went and they tried to get people together all over the world. There's groups all over the world. It's incredible practice that they do. And it's based on Bernie's understanding that the only thing that keeps us locked up, keeps our hearts locked up, is fear. And so he himself would go to the places where there was fear, and he learned to overcome those fears in his life, and in his teaching he taught the same thing. He took his robes off. He was a Zen master. He took his robes off. He left the mat, so to speak, and he went out in the world to bring that courage and that compassion and kindness that he had, and beautiful love and caring to all beings. And so the group he started was the Zen Peacemakers, and they're still very much alive and working. You can check them out, Zen Peacemakers International. So we did a program today. Myself and Jeff Bridges, who was also a friend of Bernie's. You can hear us rapping and talking back and forth about Bernie, and I sang a couple of little chants. And that's available for replay on the Zen Peacemakers Facebook page and Krishnadas Facebook page. Is that Krishnadas Music or just me, Krishnadas? I don't know. I think it's just Krishnadas Facebook page. So, big news is that the next 2 Thursdays, I will be here, but not here. I'm going to Mexico, to Baja, Mexico. We're doing our first retreat with human beings. It's going to be mostly outdoors, and we feel that hopefully it'll be safe and nobody will get sick. So we're doing that. So for the next 2 Thursdays, I won't be here, but we'll be doing 2 different satsangs here. Next Thursday, the 27th, we're going to have what is it now? You know, I did this program with Michael Sternfeld, who's a Ramayana scholar. And I think I told you about it last week. So Michael and I did a conversation, a discussion together about the project and about Hanuman and Ram and the whole thing. So that would be played next Thursday. And then the Thursday after that, February 3rd, is a recording of a satsang I did in Maui when we were out there in December. So I'm sorry that I won't be here. I will miss you. But we'll have at least those 2 things available if you want to tune in. Then the next Chai Chat will be February 19th. And if those of you who are in LA were planning to come to the Kirtan on February 26th, don't go, because it's been postponed until May, when hopefully traveling will open up and things will be, it'll be safe to travel around and be in large groups of people, I hope. We'll see. And those of you in Boulder who were going to come to the Kirtan on March 16th, don't go, because it's been postponed to June 21st. So anyway, all this information is on the website, okay? Hate to spend so much time on it. Somebody's asking, wondering how you interpret the phrase, to go within. No matter the practice, meditation, chant, aikido, I struggle with what that phrase truly means. Well, when we say go within, we're not like talking in, like, we're not talking cut a hole in your body and get in there. We're talking about to deepen your awareness. So, for instance, you say meditation, chant, aikido. So let's say you're meditating. Normally, all we have is a flow of thought and emotion that we're obsessed with and glued to, right? But when we sit down to meditate, we are adding a practice to the moment. We're adding another object of concentration or another object of awareness to the moment. And that object, and when we start to pay attention to that object, we then notice how difficult it is to pay attention to that object, for instance, the breath. Your mind, your thoughts, your emotions are constantly pulling you away. So when we say go within, when it's said go within, what we mean is to be able to release those thoughts and enter into the space that includes all those thoughts. There's really no within and without, except in the sense of physicality. But consciousness is not within or without. It permeates everything. Everything exists inside of awareness, of pure being. So when it's talked about going within, it just means to release the constant flow of thought identification, emotion identification, and physical identification. So, and also, when we look out at the world, right? We're looking out of our eyes. We see a lot of things. And we interpret and evaluate all these things out there. Oh, that's good, that's bad, that's beautiful, that's ugly, I want that, I don't want that, I dip it, like this. So really what we're seeing out there, what seems to be out there, is actually a subjective experience. It's not objective. Even an object, like you're looking at the screen right now, maybe, that's not outside of you. That's inside of your awareness. And as we calm ourselves down and clean the mirror of our hearts, because you can think of the outside world as a mirror, as looking in a mirror, and you're actually seeing all your stuff. But most people just think that's the way things are. That person is beautiful, that person is ugly. I want that, I don't want that. This is good, this is bad. Most people never question that. That's real to them. And that's what's called relative reality, one of the ways of describing it. Ultimate reality is when the dust and the dirt on the mirror of the heart is cleaned off. Then what is seen is no longer subjective or personal. What's experienced is what is real. And that's beyond concepts, beyond thoughts and emotions. That's kind of a way of thinking about it. So I hope that's somewhat helpful. You have called Maharaji puppet master. Do you think he was pulling strings, i.e. influencing your decisions? Or did he just know what your decisions would be in advance? I love questions like that. Well, how do you answer that? You see, you asked this question, and this question describes how you see the situation, your point of view of the situation. My point of view is very different. You see me as an individual whose strings were either pulled or not pulled. I understand a little bit that I am not an individual, that my consciousness is no different in the ultimate sense than Maharaji's consciousness. He knows that, I don't. So I may feel like a puppet. That's what we were talking about before. That's relative reality. But for Maharaji, there is no relative reality. There are no strings to pull. When you connect with a being like that, when a being like that has taken you on and accepted you as a devotee, ultimately your only option is surrender. So for instance, when I quit singing, when I quit chanting with people in 1994 or 5, March 95, I quit singing with people because for a lot of reasons. I'm sure most of you know the story. And I went to India. And every day I would say to Maharaji, you have to fix this. I'm singing to people in your name. This is your problem. I'm not able to do it purely. I'm not able to do it with the right intention, etc., etc. So you have to fix this. I can't fix it because I'm the problem. So I can't fix it. You have to fix it. So 3 months went by, and I was going to have to leave to come back to America, and still nothing had happened in me, to me, for me. I was the same. He had not changed anything. And I fully believed that he could change it. Now, okay, so now do it. Change me. Fix me so I can do this practice, which I have to do to save my own ass. I can't even do it because I'm so messed up. So the last night, pretty much one of the last nights at the temple in Kenchi, I went out to the back of the temple and I looked up at the stars and I was talking to Maharaji. I said, what's the deal? What's the deal? I don't get it. You haven't done anything. I told you I'm not singing until you fix this. I can't sing until you fix this. Why haven't you done this? I don't understand. You could do this. And then I just said, well, what can I do? If you're not going to do it, I can't make you do it. All right, I'll go back, I'll sing. How bad could it be? Good night. That moment was surrender. It didn't feel like surrender at the time, but in retrospect, that was the moment that I agreed to just be me as I am. And I didn't demand the universe to change. I agreed to deal with it as I am. And as a result of that moment, everything changed for me. Did he know? Did he not know? I have no idea of knowing. I have no idea. You'd have to be him to know that. All I know is that it is by his grace that I was able to continue to do what I had to do to save my own ass, to help myself, to bring myself deeper into that love, that loving presence. But so soon after that I came back to America within a week or so, and I was in the city and I went to visit a friend's apartment, and she was there with another friend, and they were watching the video of Maharaji. There's some video, I think a total of maybe 7 or 8 minutes of video. That's probably all there is, something like that. And I walked into the apartment and I saw the video and I burst out laughing. And I said, that's not Maharaji, the video of him, his body. That's the Maharaji puppet. The real Maharaji created a puppet for us because we're puppets and we have puppet eyes. And all we can see are other puppets. We can't see the great puppet master. We can only see the puppet master's puppet. And I laughed. I broke out laughing. It was so funny to me. But out of love and compassion for us, he created a puppet for us that we could see and fall in love with and be attracted to, and so saving ourselves from ourselves. So I don't know. Did I even answer your question? I have no idea. But anyway, nice question. Do I remember anything from the Jimi Hendrix concert I attended before leaving for India? It was not before leaving for India, it was going up to live with Ram Dass, a year and a half before going to India. And the answer is absolutely not. I don't remember anything. Somebody's asking if I played guitar on one of my latest podcasts. I don't know. Did I? I don't know. Every once in a while I play some guitar. Maybe I did. Maybe not. Maybe I watched the podcast of Elvis. I have no idea. I read that Ram brought the rules, the rules of living, and that Krishna broke them. That's a great way of saying it. Krishna and Ram are the same guy, by the way. They're not different. They're different manifestations of the same being, Vishnu, they say. I don't know who Vishnu is. I don't know Krishna. I don't know Ram. I'm just repeating the things that I've heard. But anyway, Ram, it was a different era, a different yuga. Ram was in a different yuga before Krishna. And there wasn't as much darkness then. The light wasn't buried as deeply as it was in the next yugas up until now, where it's really buried very deeply. within us and hard to find. So Ram came to establish Dharma and to destroy the evil or negativity that was in the world, overcoming all the goodness in the world. There was this big demon named Ravana. And Ram came to establish the Dharma and destroy that demon, which he did. But Ram's role was to act like a perfect human being, not like a god, not like a god with all the powers. Because it was a different time. It was enough. People could see the light more easily in that time. And so Ram's role, his attitude in the world was as a human being. By the time Krishna manifested, by the time Vishnu manifested as Krishna, it was a very different world. And Krishna was breaking all the rules and getting the attention of people. And in Ram's time, it didn't have to be like that. It was easier to be spiritual, you could say, and live a good life. By the time Krishna manifested, or Vishnu manifested as Krishna, it was a different time. I don't know. I'm just riffing on this because that's the way it seems to me. And yes, Krishna broke all the rules. Whenever he did what he wanted, he did what had to. He made things happen the way he wanted them to happen, the way they had to happen, in order for goodness and purity of heart to conquer evil at that time. For instance, in the war that was fought when Krishna was Arjuna's charioteer, there was a big missile coming towards the chariot. Krishna put his foot down and sunk the chariot into the ground, and the missile went by. That's cheating. But not if God does it. It ain't cheating then. It's just the way it had to be. Krishna was wild, really wild. And it was all about love. He inflamed the hearts of his devotees and reestablished Dharma on the earth by establishing the Pandavas, the good guys, the quote-unquote good guys, helping them be victorious in the war against the bad guys, so to speak. So, the Mahabharata is such a great, I love it. The Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which is the story of Krishna and the Pandavas, those are my favorite books. They're just extraordinary. When I imagine the difficult times that could come to us, all of us, I never could have imagined this time. Did your Guru offer any guidance to take you through this time of division, isolation, and pandemic? My Guru gave the same advice to everyone. Repeat the name of Ram, repeat the names, Ram, Krishna, Shiva, Kali, Durga, and love everyone, serve everyone, and repeat the name. That's what he said. And that is advice that works for everyone at any time. He seemed to know that there was going to be hard times coming. He had said that to some people. But that didn't mean that he gave any special advice to people. He gave the same teaching. Love your neighbors, the same as you know that guy. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Treat others as you want to be treated. Right now. Let's do that now. Wouldn't that change everything in the universe right now if we all treated each other the way we would like to be treated? That's not that hard. Oh, it is hard, huh? Why is it hard? Greed. shame, fear, anger, violence. This is what's creating what we're all going through. So those of us who aspire to help ourselves and help others, that's what we should do. We get the strength to do that from the repetition of the name, from the practice of the repetition of the name. That will bring us the strength to overcome our own fears, our own selfish ideas, and our own anger, our own shame, our own greed. And then we can expand that to help everybody. Somebody's asking about when did I cut my hair. Well, I used to have very long hair in India. But in the temple where we were living, whenever it rained, we didn't get by the late fall, it was getting cold, and whenever it rained, everything got wet, and your hair stayed wet like for days, and I was getting sick. So I was thinking of cutting my hair. So I went to Maharaji, and I said, I think I said, Baba, I want to cut my hair. And he said, Itna, this much. And I looked at him, I said, you want me to trim the ends? And he said, Nay, leave this much. And I went, because my hair was down, it's down to here. It was way down. And I thought, I thought I was going to cut it, but I was not going to cut that. He said, leave this much. Oh. But it was such a great experience cutting all that hair off. It was like, woof. It was fantastic. That mantra, someone says, can you recite that mantra again that got rid of the headaches? The mantra is not in order to rid yourself of headaches. The mantra that he was doing was giving him a headache. So he was then given a different mantra that didn't beg for help. He was begging for help after every verse, again and again and again and again. He was getting a headache. Because you don't have to beg the goddess over and over and over and over. She's your mother. She lives to give and help. And that's what that mantra that he was given. It's in, I think it must be in, on the website, in the lyrics section of the CDs. So, but that mantra itself is not going to get rid of your headache if you have a headache. It's not for that. It's for devotion. It's not aspirin. It's for devotion. I want to begin chanting, but I find my vocal cords get sore and tired after a few minutes. Well, you're probably trying to sing too high, and you're probably singing too loud or too hard. Just be at ease, just easy. Make sure you drink enough water. You can use some kind of lozenge to keep your throat moisturized. Don't try too hard. How to get rid of bad habits. Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. On one hand, at some point, you probably just grow out of it, whatever habit you have. I think the best thing to do is practice awareness. Notice what you're doing, try to understand why you're doing it, what you're getting from the habit. Like if you're eating too much, Why are you eating too much? Is there anxiety? Is there fear? Is there what's going on? Just observe yourself and see what's going on. And then, you can play around a little bit. You can say, okay, for 2 days, I'm not going to do that. And see what you go through. That's really extraordinary, what you go through as soon as you cut that off. You'll see. It's like, you start thinking about it all the time. How much longer? I got like 1 day and 39 minutes left, and blah, blah, blah. And then do it again. And then take another break, like for a week. Sometimes bad habits. One time I had a bad habit. I took a year off. I said, for a year, I'm not going to do that. And you wind up thinking about it for a long time, and then eventually it kind of fades. It's just you got to work with this stuff, I mean, if you have the inner strength, you can just take a vow not to do it anymore. But most of us can't do that. Most of us it'll put us through too much craziness if we try to just stop doing something that's become so habitual. Or you could just pray, God, take this from me, and see what happens. But you have to mean it when you say that, otherwise it don't happen. Oh, how to deal with heartbreak. All of us have broken hearts, every single one of us. You don't deal with it. You just live through it. That's the deal. And you try to see what is it that you wanted from, I would guess this was a relationship of some kind. What were you looking for? And what did you want from that person? Who did you need that person to be for you? And then you recognize eventually that nobody can be who you want them to be because they're already who they are. And we fall in love with somebody and they look perfect. And then that perfect picture starts to crack. And then our hearts get broken because we weren't dealing with reality in the first place. We were projecting our perfect person onto that being. And for a while, they appreciated that, and they were doing the same to us. But then, things change. And that projection starts to slip down the wall. And behind the projection is who that person is, with all the nonsense that's in there, You'll heal up, we all heal up, but we have to learn, Ultimately, love is letting somebody be who they are and not trying to make them into who you need them to be. It's not easy. It's not easy. Oh, it's getting late here. How does one let go of thoughts to be more grounded? You just let go. As soon as you notice that you're thinking and you haven't been paying attention to the object of concentration that you picked, whether it's mantra, breath, the body, something like that, you simply come back again and again and again. It's called practice. If you want to learn how to play the guitar, you have to practice. If you want to learn to do, you have to practice. It's no button to push to make it happen. Practice, developing that inner strength and the ability to practice regularly every day, even if it's just a few minutes. Don't miss a day. Did Maharaji hint in any way that who you will pass on your legacy to? My legacy? You mean a dirty house and a lot of coffee grounds all over the place? I don't know what you're talking about. Maharaji did not speak English to us. He spoke to us usually through a translator. And except when he didn't want to wait for the translator, he would just answer our question. He wouldn't wait for the translator to tell him what we were thinking. He knew what we were thinking. He knew what we were saying, even though he didn't speak English. He didn't know a lot of English words. He didn't really talk a lot of English. Sit down, quick march, now go, now come. But all right, so that's, boy, there's a lot of questions today. What can I do to get the grace? What can I do get the grace of seeing Baba in a human body? It's up to Baba. It's not up to you. And if it's the right thing for you, he'll show up that way. But, you know, I'd probably die if I saw him. If he walked in the room right now and I saw him with my physical eyes, I'd probably have a heart attack. So he won't do that to me, probably. How to know what path to follow? You have to listen to your heart. Follow them all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just listen to your heart and do what you feel you have to do. Nobody can tell you. That's part of the path, is finding what works for you. And learn to trust your own heart. That's the most important thing. That's what the whole path comes down to ultimately, is trusting our own hearts. We haven't been taught that. We've been locked out of our own hearts. We've been taught that it's my way, not your way, and you have to listen to somebody else's nonsense and trust, and you have to trust somebody else, your parents telling you the way things are, your friends, your teachers. We're not taught to trust our own hearts and our own intuition. The idea of intuition and innate awareness and innate understanding isn't part of our culture. So it's very hard to overcome all that cultural programming and listen and hear what your own feelings and trust them. Sometimes it takes courage to just, everybody's telling you this is great, you don't feel it, split. It's hard. It's not easy because nobody's doing it. We haven't been brought up in a culture where people really trust themselves. Everybody's telling everybody else what they should be feeling, what they should be buying, what they should be doing, how they should do it, what they should wear, what they should listen to. And nobody's listening to their own heart. So that's what we have to learn to do. Namaste astu Rudra Rupe Yaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtai Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niravambaya Tejasa Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya, Girija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Arunachala Deva Namah Shivaya, Arunachala Shiva Namah Shivaya. Arun Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambho Shankara Namah Shivaya. Hridaya Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shambhu Shankara Namah Shivaya, Rija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Shambhu Namah Shivaya, Rija Shankara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha, Shivaya Namaha. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this body mine. Calling out to hungry spirits everywhere through endless time. Calling out to hungry hearts, all the lost and the left behind. Gather round and share this meal, your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja, Nijamana Mukur Sudari, Arano Raghubar Bimala Jasu, Jodayak Alachari, Buddhin Tanujan Ke, Sumeram Bhavana Kumar Siaram, Palla Buddhi Vidya, Dehu Mohi, Karahu Kalesa, Vikar, Syavara Ramachandra Pada Jaya Sharanam, Jaya Hanuman Gyana Gunasar, Jaya Kapisati Loka Ujar, Ramaduta Tulta Baladam, Anjani Putra Pavana Sutana, Mahavir Bikram Bajrang, Kumat Nivar Sumati Ke Sangi, Kanchana Varana Viraj Subesa, Kanana Kundala Kunshita Kesa, Hata Bajra Dvaja Viraj, Kande Munja Jane Usaj, Shankara Suvana Kesari Nanda, Teja Pratap Mahajagabanda, Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur, Amakaja Karibe, O Atur Prabhu Charit शास्त्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसे, सूक्ष्म रूप धरसिया हिंद काल, विकट रूप धरे लंक जरा, भीम रूप धरे असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवार, आय सजीवन लखन जी आय, श्री रघुवीर शिवर लाय, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरताय समभाई, सहस बदन तुमरो जस गाओ, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगाओ, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीस, नारद शारद सहित अहिस, मकुबेर दिगपाल जहांते, कभी को बिद खाए सके कहांते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीवाहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाए राज्य पद दीन, मरो मंत्र विभीषण मान, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जान, जुग सहस्र जो जन पर बान, लील्योताहि मधुर पल जान, प्रभु मुद्रिका मिले मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए शरज नाही, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते, राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिन पैजार, सब सुख लाहे तुम्हारी शरण, तुम्हारा चक काहू को धर्म, आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक हम कतिंकांपे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनाओ, नासे रोग हरे सब पीर, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीर, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राज, इनके काज सकल तुम साज, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोवे अमित जीवन पल पावे, चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा, है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियार, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता, सवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पास, सदा रहो रघुपति के दास, तुम्हारे भजन राम को पाओ, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसराओ, अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहां जन्म हर भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीर, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छुत ही बंद महासुख होए, होया पर हनुमान चालीसा, होया सिद्धि साखी गणेश, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेर, कीजे नाथ हृदय मंदिर, Pavanatanaya Sankataharana Mangalamurti Rup Siyaram Rama Lakshmana Sita Saita Hriday Basar Surabhupa Siyavara Ramachandra Padaje Sharanam Mangalamurti Marutanandan Skala Mangalamula Nikandan Mangalamurti Marutanandan Sakala Mangalamula Nikandan Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Ho ho Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. If we know anything about a path at all, if we know that there might be a way to live in this world in a good way, with an open heart and without fear, it's only because of the great beings that have gone before us. Out of their love, out of their kindness, they left some footprints for us to follow. So, in the same way that they wish for us, in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, all of us, be safe, be happy, that all of us have good health and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and at ease of heart with whatever comes to us in life. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Take good care, everybody. See you soon. Ram Ram.